Several citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis were recognized for their contribution to the national image of the independent nation in a 19 December ceremony hosted by the Ministry of Sustainable Development and with the presence of Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew and his cabinet colleagues. The special award given on behalf of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis was presented to a family member of the late Kenrick Georges, creator of the national anthem, to Idris Louis Weikweg, designer of the national flag, to Jacqueline Ryan, creator of the national dish, to Kia Archibald, the Independence Baby of 1983, and the combined award for the joint creation of the national wear to Dr. Joyette Woodley, Vaughn Woodley, Grace Woodley, and Dwayne Weeks. Prime Minister Dr. Drew thanked the recipients for their contribution to the nation.
And I like to say that we should thank our people, but we should also thank them in tangible ways. Something they can point to that reflects the grateful heart of a grateful nation. And today, this brief ceremony is bringing all of these persons who have really made a significant contribution to our identity as a nation and as a people, to distribute to them something that they would have forever if they decide to keep it forever, and we hope that they do keep it forever. And we thought that the best way or the best gift that we can give to them is a piece of the rock. And so I would like to announce today that each of these persons will receive a piece of the rock. Of course, a gift from St. Kitts and Nevis that they can have and contribute to their own wealth profile and have assets in their family which they can pass on, and to remind those who they pass it on to that this is a gift from their grateful nation for helping in identifying who we are as a people. And so I want to say to you to put it to good use, to let it really exemplify what we expect it to exemplify, a nation proud and strong. We want to say to you that you have been an example to all of us, and let your example be a shining light to all those who are citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, to really seek the positive path of making our country stronger and better.
Congratulating the recipients also were Cabinet Secretary Dr. Marcus Natter, the chairperson of the Independence Committee, and Dr. Joel Clark, Minister of Sustainable Development. The event marked the final component of the St. Kitts and Nevis 40th anniversary of independence and was hosted through the Ministry of Sustainable Development. Glenn Brown reporting for SK Newsline. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs will step up its engagements during 2024 to fulfill goals and interests of St. Kitts and Nevis, according to Dr. Denzel Douglas, Minister of Foreign Affairs. Speaking during the recent budget sitting of the National Assembly in Basseterre, the Foreign Affairs Minister indicated that there will be increased diplomatic engagements with both traditional and non-traditional partners who could advocate on the country's behalf and interests.
We shall continue to encourage our officers to pursue diplomatic and other relationships that can leverage our own ability to advance toward the achievement of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development inter alia, reducing poverty, promoting gender equality, and fostering climate action, etc. In the international sphere, we shall continue to support regional integration and ensure that agreements with foreign countries that they are consistent with our national interest. And we will continue to promote respect for human rights, respect for the rule of law, justice, equality, and non-discrimination, and to continue to express solidarity with nations and peoples where these values are consistently held up. We intend to establish consulates in non-traditional jurisdictions and appoint ambassadors at large for different focus areas. We believe that where it may not be possible to establish an embassy, we can use our networks of persons anxious to be consuls, honorary and otherwise. In fact, Madam Speaker, we can say that to date, we have been pursuing this with some clarity. Saudi Arabia, a country that we had established as a country diplomatic relations with a few years ago, is now fully ready to receive and allow honorary consuls and possibly consul generals to also be part of our diplomatic landscape there.
Dr. Douglas spoke of strengthening ties with countries that could be voices of support for St. Kitts and Nevis in certain important geopolitical arenas, such as the European Union. Glenn Barrett reporting for SK Newsline.
Calling all Sugar Bass lovers. The best carnival experience is coming your way from December 15, 2023 to January 2nd, 2024. Mark your calendars, save the dates, and start making plans for the ultimate celebration of pure Caribbean vibes. Follow our social media at SKN Carnival or our website at skncarnival.com to keep updated.
From all of us at the Malice St. Kitts Resort, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Introducing St. Kitts and Nevis's newest TV channel, Television Caribbean, TVC Channel 40 on the cable's Ultra TV. TVC promises to deliver the finest in television broadcasting in St. Kitts and Nevis and the Caribbean, with some of the best local programs in news, sports, and entertainment. Join us for Insights, where we delve into the lives of our guests.
Let me see what happened if I put this to it. Big explosion, like, okay, note to self, don't do that again.
Or get in-depth analysis on Newsline 360. We have sports, entertainment, and inspiration. It's all here on TVC Channel 40 on the cable's Ultra TV, on Tel TV cable network in St. Martin, and on our website www.tvcplus.live. TVC Channel 40. See the difference.
It's beautiful. He took one look at you and the angels started singing.
Another wonderful day.
What would you say about staying here for a few months or like a year, just so that we can be together again and just live and love and laugh and have fun and breathe?
Why are you hiding out on a little Caribbean island, singing in a beach bar?
When I came here, I was at peace, and I never left.
This is the beating heart of Nevis. This is what grounds me, what feeds my soul. It's where I found myself.
I hope your life here will be full of joy. Love this island, my son. She will give you more than you can imagine.
After a period spanning 5 days from the presentation of St. Kitts and Nevis's 2024 budget address by the Prime Minister, Dr. Terence Drew, and to the rebuttal of Leader of the Opposition, Mark Brantley, and debates by parliamentarians, the Appropriation Bill 2023 was passed, with total estimates for 2024 of $1.9 billion for recurrent expenditure, capital expenditure, and net lending. This was passed into law on Tuesday, December 19th.
So the question is that the bill entitled the Appropriation 2024 Bill 2023 be read a third time and passed. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it.
A bill to provide for the services of St. Christopher and Nevis for the financial year commencing 1st January 2024 and ending on 31st December 2024, otherwise known as the Appropriation 2024 Bill 2023.
The bill has been read a third time and passed into law.
The appropriation bill was presented under the theme Marching on the Journey to a Sustainable Island State. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline. Living up to the tradition of the prestigious pageant, the Haynes Smith Miss Caribbean Talented Teen Pageant pair a local co-host with the guest host. This year, host comedian Fatman George from Grenada will co-host with identical twins Quinn and Yannick Martin from St. Kitts and Nevis. The Martin twins are accomplished Sagicor life insurance advisors who have developed a reputation for providing wise financial advice to the citizens and residents of St. Kitts and Nevis. Beyond their passion for fostering financial stability and health security, they work as acquisition agents for dCash, the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank's digital payment platform. This dynamic duo is also known for their songwriting and music production skills and have made noteworthy contributions to Carnival in St. Kitts and Nevis as performing artists in the past. They are holders of bachelor's degrees in the field of commercial music business obtained from the University of Westminster in London. 10 contestants will compete at the 2023 Haynes Smith Miss Caribbean Talented Teen Pageant, slated for December 30th, 2023 at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort, starting at 8 p.m. The Haynes Smith Miss Caribbean Talented Teen Pageant Committee would like to thank the major sponsors for supporting this year's event: Timothy Beach Resort, Open Interactive, First Federal Credit Union, and SL Horsford's and Company Limited. Introducing St. Kitts and Nevis's newest TV channel, Television Caribbean, TVC Channel 40, on the cable's Ultra TV. TVC promises to deliver the finest in television broadcasting in St. Kitts and Nevis and the Caribbean, with some of the best local programs in news, sports, and entertainment. Join us for Insights, where we delve into the lives of our guests.
Let me see what happens if I put this to it. Big explosion, like, okay, note to self, don't do that again.
Or get in-depth analysis on Newsline 360. We have sports, entertainment, and inspiration. It's all here on TVC Channel 40 on the cable's Ultra TV, on TelTV Cable Network in St. Martin, and on our website www.tvcplus.live. TVC Channel 40. See the difference.
It's beautiful. He took one look at you and the angels started singing.
Another wonderful day.
what would you say about staying here for a few months or like a year, just so that we can be together again and just live and love and laugh and have fun and breathe?
Why are you hiding out on a little Caribbean island, singing in a beach bar?
When I came here, I was at peace, and I never left.
This is the beating heart of Nevis. This is what grounds me, what feeds my soul. It's where I found myself.
I hope your life here will be full of joy. Love this island, my son. She will give you more than you can imagine.
Get ready for a dazzling showcase of talent, intelligence, and beauty at the 41st edition of Aim Smith Miss Caribbean Talented Teen. Join us on December 30th, 2023 at 8 p.m. sharp at the St. Kitts Marriott Hotel. Experience the brilliance of delegates from the Caribbean nation, including Mr. Kyler Hart Johnson, representing St. Kitts and Nevis. Our special guest host, comedian Fat Man George from Grenada. Power Pack performances by Soca Super, Lucas H.E., along with other local and regional performers, accompanied by the Greenhouse Band. Get your tickets fast for $80 EC before December 25th, or pay $100 EC thereafter. Don't miss the chance to watch the show live on sknvibes.com. It's the 41st annual Haynes Smith Miss Caribbean Talented Teen, where stars are born. Special thanks to our major sponsors, First Federal Credit Union, SL Hosford and Company Limited, Open Interactive, and Timothy Beach Resort. Join us and be a part of this legacy.
In the realm of politics, where perception plays a significant role, it is crucial to balance celebration and criticism. Prime Minister Honorable Philip J. Pierre expresses a sense of vindication, noting that initiatives faced with criticism have proven beneficial for the nation. He notes the importance of appreciating positive contributions and emphasizing the shared commitment to national development and the well-being of the citizenry.
I have been more than vindicated. I have proven correct. In fact, I should be making a victory lap. Victory lap. I said so. I pushed it. There were demonstrations. I was heckled. I was ridiculed on social media. I was called all kind of names. But the sad thing is that the United Workers' Party will never retract and say they made a mistake.
According to the Prime Minister, the downfall of many lies in pride, as even the greatest among us have made mistakes. Opposition should not always adopt a confrontational stance. Instead, commendable initiatives deserves recognition for the nation to progress.
That arrogance in the United Workers' Party will never end. You understand? And if you say anything, they tell you talk about your agenda. My agenda was going to the CCG, and I make no bones about it. I'm proud that they were the first ones who got redemption from the CCG.
The Prime Minister made those remarks on Friday, December 15. Cecil Actil, NBC Prime.
We begin with an update. For months, the nation's educators and administrators have been battling with a spate of issues ranging from compensation discrepancies to spikes in migration.
It's a plight which saw several protests erupting across the island, demanding the attention of the government. In this story, Natalia Clark provides an update on the education sector.
When the government embarked on a quest to restructure compensation for public sector workers earlier this year, they promised a simplified system. 8 months later, and teachers are still finding anomalies, forcing President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, Leighton Johnson, to renew calls for the calculation used to be disclosed.
The bottom line is teachers just simply need to be in a position where they can comfortably and confidently calculate their salaries so they know exactly what to expect at the end of each month.
He explained this was something teachers were able to do up to April 2023 when the new salary took effect. Johnson notes, however, that their plight to rectify the many discrepancies has bear some fruit, as a stormy meeting on Friday resulted in a resolution regarding graduate allowance and remote inducement.
The Ministry of Finance has agreed to pay or implement the graduate allowance and the remote inducement at April 1, 24. And that is what we have agreed to as the association.
On another note, the JTA president says many institutions across the island are still grappling with limited or non-existent educators for key subjects including English language. To address this, the Ministry of Education had employed a comprehensive teacher recruitment and retention exercise, which Johnson says helped, but laments more is needed.
What we want to ensure and emphasize is that those teachers who remain in the system are not overworked, they are not burdened, they are not left to take on double or two timetables, just to ensure that the system doesn't fall into total chaos. We have to ensure that those teachers who remain are teachers who are protected and we look out for their best interest.
Compensation disparities for educators resulted in a series of protests across the island earlier this year, as many noted feeling disrespected and disregarded by the government of Jamaica. Natalia Clark, CVM News.
A three-day conference.
When the government embarked
Now, a three-day conference hosted by the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, has again seen stakeholders pleading with the government for greater attention and care to be shown to teachers in the early childhood education sector. From better wages to benefits and even more resources, day one speakers insisted the critical gaps were simply not being addressed. To tell us more, here's Celine Campbell.
Early childhood education is the foundation of the educational system. So says Dr. Mark Nicely, Secretary General of the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA. Dr. Nicely emphasizes the importance of early childhood education, noting it is one of the most critical stages of a child's life. However, he feels practitioners who are responsible for these children are not being treated fairly.
The persons who operate in the sector and are funded through the Early Childhood Commission gets a maximum monthly of just under 30,000 Jamaican dollars. And I have heard the argument to say that they are not practitioners, they are not qualified, really, but they are in charge of our children, the nation's children, at the youngest and tender and most vulnerable stage of their lives.
Senior early childhood education lecturer Dr. Zoya Kinkhead Clark says Jamaica has a high enrollment rate for early childhood institutions. Yet, she explains, majority of these institutions do not meet the operational standards. Dr. Clark outlines the main areas that needs to be improved to meet the standards needed.
We're looking at improving the infrastructure of schools. We're looking at increasing the number of teachers with first degrees, especially in communities that we know need support.
The conference will run for 3 days at the Holiday Inn Resort and Spa. Celine Campbell for CVM News.
10 Americans held by Venezuela. They are back in the United States this morning after a high-level prisoner swap. U.S. officials say 6 of them were wrongfully detained. They were freed in exchange for a close ally of Venezuela's president, that's Nicolas Maduro. Ed O'Keefe is at the White House with more on this story. Ed, good morning to you.
Gail, good to see you. The deal is the result of 7 months of talks and one more step in President Biden's vow to bring detained Americans home from overseas.
Overnight, Americans released from Venezuela landed back in the U.S., part of a deal praised by President Biden.
And we've secured the release of every American being held in
Venezuela.
Among those freed, Evan Hernandez from Los Angeles, who'd been detained since March 2022.
It was probably the most difficult thing I've ever been through. It was a struggle every day.
Before his release, Hernandez sent a letter to the president asking for help and recorded this message obtained exclusively by CBS News.
And there is nothing I want more than my own liberty and the liberty of my fellow brothers and sisters who are currently being held in captivity with me.
Venezuela also agreed to extradite Francis Leonard, widely known as Fat Leonard, a defense contractor who'd been awaiting sentencing for orchestrating the U.S. Navy's worst corruption scandal in history, which he bragged about during a podcast in 2021.
Everybody was in my pocket. I had them in my palm. I was just rolling them around.
While under house arrest in California, he cut off his ankle bracelet to flee the country and was apprehended in Venezuela. As part of the deal, President Nicolas Maduro's government also agreed to release 20 political prisoners and an opposition party leader to begin paving the way for fair elections next year. In exchange, the U.S. sent back Alex Saab, someone close to Maduro, accused by U.S. prosecutors of money laundering. The president defended the move.
We've freed American people who were held illegally, and we made a deal with Venezuela that they'll hold free elections. So far, they've maintained their requirements.
Back in Venezuela, Saab embraced Maduro, who claimed his friend had been physically and psychologically tortured. U.S. officials denied Maduro's claims of torture. The deal drew some bipartisan condemnation over concerns it will embolden Maduro or inspire other autocrats to capture Americans. Families of the released Americans thank the Biden administration, and the suspect, known as Fat Leonard, is due in a Miami federal courtroom later today. Nate?
All right, Ed, thank you.
Well, let's return now to that breaking news story from the Czech Republic. Authorities there say that more than 15 people have been killed after a shooting at a university in Prague. Many others were injured, some seriously. We believe the number of injured now stands at around 24. Well, police say the shooter's body was also found at the scene by police. Let's take you live now to the latest. Darkness has well and truly fallen on Prague, but the police are still very much out in force. And our journalist who is there told us that many areas around the university are still cordoned off by police who are advising people to stay away. At a press conference earlier, police confirmed the shooter was a student at the university's Faculty of Arts at Charles University, where the incident happened. Now, the university is near a very famous tourist site, the 14th century Charles Bridge. It's at the heart of historic Prague, just a stone's throw from the old town square. Now, Prague, as we know, is very popular with tourists throughout the year, but it's the Christmas markets and the Christmas season where it really sees the number of tourists increasing. And we spoke to a few people earlier on in the programme who were there on holiday. The BBC have also spoken to a couple who were in Prague on their honeymoon who said that they were told by police to get down and to get away as quickly as possible. Now, when the event happened, police evacuated the building and they warned the people around the area, the Jan Palach Square, to stay away. Now, the Interior Minister has been speaking. He's been reassuring people that there is no imminent danger anymore and that this is not connected to international terrorism in any way. The Czech President, Petr Pavel, has expressed his shock and sent his condolences. And the Czech Prime Minister has said that all future events have been cancelled in light of these tragic events. We know that this shooting is the biggest mass shooting seen in modern Czech history. There was a gun attack back in 2019, which killed 4 men and 2 women. That time, a man opened fire at a trauma clinic waiting room in another part of the Czech Republic. But since then, nothing of this size or anywhere near this size has happened. And gun crime in the Czech Republic are very, very rare indeed. I've been speaking to a number of journalists and they have all confirmed this. So, as you can see from those live pictures, police and ambulances still very much at the scene. One person who was also at the scene was Professor Sergei Medvedev. He was inside the Charles University building in Prague when the shooting happened. He described the experience to me.
So I was in the auditorium. I was giving a lecture at the moment. And
We first didn't quite realize what happened because there was some sounds. Well, the students, I think, heard it better because it was so much concentrated on my talking, on my lecture. Then we stayed in the auditorium. We understood that something big is happening. There was nothing online yet. Nothing in the Czech press and the networks. And then at some point, the special operation troops, went storming in. They searched the room briefly and then went out. After which they told us to stay inside. So I understood that something big has happened. And then there was some shooting. Probably there was already shooting by the police forces, liquidating the shooter himself. And then we stayed inside. We stayed away from the doors. We barricaded the door. We put all the, desks against the door. We turned off the lights. We didn't stay close to the windows. And then 1 hour later, another police squad broke in and then put us on the floor, briefly searched us, and then evacuated from the building. So we're now in the neighboring concert hall called the Rudolfinum. And so we're all assembled here and our documents checked, and we're waiting for further developments.
Professor, how frightening was that to have to barricade yourselves in that lecture room for a whole hour before you knew what was happening and you knew that you could get out?
I don't know, maybe the fright will come later. I wasn't really frightened at the moment. Also, when they're students, you feel responsibility. So you're really thinking about the people for whom you're responsible for. No, it was more like, calm curiosity. I didn't know about the human loss then. So maybe it will dawn on me later. As we were evacuated, and we were walking on the stairs, and there's this historic marble stairs there, and they're all splashed with blood. There was lots of blood on the stairs, and I wouldn't say I saw the dead bodies, but I see the crutches. Probably there were bodies on the crutches, so probably they were already evacuated by then. And then we were briskly evacuated from the building.
That must have been just horrible to see that as you were walking down those stairs.
You know what? In the moment that it is happening, you are not thinking about how horrible it is. You're just acting. You're going, you're just running to safety. Maybe it looks horrible when you watch it on TV, but as you're inside the storm, in the eye of the storm, you just think, you should make your next step. You should move forward.
Professor, how common is gun crime in the Czech Republic?
Not that I've heard of. I think in terms of crime, in terms of, gun shooting, it's one of the safest places on earth I can think of. It's really it's really a shock that it's happening in Prague, in one of the quieter European destinations in the middle of the Christmas season, when the city is packed with tourists. And it's actually at the very heart of the city. It's at the heart of the Staré Město, the old city. And just outside the windows of our auditorium, we're seeing the Prague Castle, Pražský hrad. It's just half a mile away. It's a gorgeous sight outside the window. Next is the historical synagogue. And it's like really the heart of the city. The Christmas fair is half a mile away on the old city square. So that's quite impressive that, whoever the shooter was struck right at the heart of the celebration in a very popular global destination.